Hey y'all, welcome back to Art with Mackenzie. Today we're painting a dinosaur leg. Make a little base for her. She'll be standing in a puddle of mud. So I've got this great air dry clay that I'll be using to get her base set up. And we're going to be doing this whole project using only 4 colors. I know, you're saying, geez Mac, how can you do this in only 4 colors? I'm telling you, we can only do it. We can do it in only 4 colors. Nailed it. What colors will we be using? Burnt sienna, carbon black, titan buff, and chromium oxide green. And because she won't stand on her own, I'm going to throw on a little bit of hot glue. And there she is, nice and perfect. And with everything that I do, I always do a nice little base coat. And this will be the burnt sienna base coat, nothing fancy. And we just coat the whole thing. And what I like to see when I paint this is small aberrations from the print. This was 3D printed in a resin printer, the Anycubic Photon 6S, I believe it is. With really great resolution, but there are some burrs and stuff from the supports that I can't quite see until I paint it. So we can see a few on her scaling in front. I'm going to cut those off in just a second. But what I like about printing out dinosaur legs and other natural things is that I don't have to necessarily care too much about some of those burrs because they kind of blend in with the rest of the sculpt, which is kind of nice. It's much harder to do on a perfectly smooth sculpt because they're very noticeable, but on things like this, it's not so bad. And we'll flop in some of that carbon black with that brown that I had left over in the container. And we're going to start doing just some dark parts. I like to make her scales and her nails black or darker brown, along with some of her camouflaging. I'm not using a guide or a reference photo for this. I've painted these so many times I kind of just know what I like. But if you're going to do this and you don't know what you like, you can get a reference photo. There's plenty out there. A lot of other artists have painted dinosaur legs. So there's nobody really knows for sure exactly what they look like. They could have been neon green, all of them, for all we know. I mean, the math doesn't check out that they would be neon green because that's just not very natural, and the whole history of biological nature kind of evolves around a singular path of why things are colored the way they're colored. And the T-Rex was in a forest environment, so she's more natural colors of browns and greens. And I'll paint the underside or the backside of this leg a lighter color. Why? Because in the movie Jurassic Park, that's the way they painted her, and I kind of modeled this after that leg, very slightly. So I'm painting it in accordance with that movie. She's a little bit lighter. I do use a little bit more saturation on my coloring than they used in the movie. In the movie, it was more grayish green, right? Not very colorful, blended in very well. Most of the time, you saw her at night. At the end, we did see her in her all beautiful daylight glory, but not too many reference photos of that. So I did use that Titan buff. I just emptied out what was in my container, threw in some Titan buff, hit the spray paint a little bit, just to get the colors to mix up some. And that's all I did. It was pretty easy. And with the color that was left, I threw in some of that chromium oxide green to help give it just more color, man. Ain't no rhyme or reason to this. I just think it looks good. The most difficult part, the tricky part, is getting down by her toes and her feet. You gotta make sure you cover every square inch of her. And I'm not doing any type of fancy painting. I'm just painting what looks right to me, what feels right as I go. And this time I did clean out the brush and put in just straight up Titan buff. And I thinned out the paint just a little bit so we can get some of that undercoat that I just painted. And I don't completely cover up everything I just did. But what I've learned on painting these is having really good high contrast is essential to getting a really good paint on your sculpts. And then I'll go back with the black and get really close to those scalings, and then her little toenails there, and then add some for her camouflage. I'll get in nice and tight. A little bit of air. I got my airbrush setting at 40 psi. Seems to work out pretty well for me. I can get really good detail, really fine detail using a 40 psi. And as you see already, she's already coming along with just 4 colors. And my little contribution to nature is putting dots. I don't know why I like dotting my dinosaurs. I just think it looks cool. Seems like it would work well to break up some of that light, much like baby deer, leopards, other animals that have dots on them. And then get little tiny little wee baby dots on the feet. Probably wouldn't need them on the feet, but hey, it looks cool. Yeah, just give a little push, little push, little push. Clean up any areas that I forgot just a moment ago. We don't know what their claws look like. We don't know if they were black or white or gray or another color. But there's a lot of evidence to suggest modern birds and dinosaurs share that lineage. And a lot of modern birds have black or really dark gray claws. So I keep going with that. I like that look. So that's how I keep it. That's how I keep it real, bro. I'll paint in some of the shading, cheating the shade, cheating the shadows. We can't forget her little tiny baby claw, her little puppy claw. Useless thing. I don't even know why they have them, but they're there. So I throw it in. I mean, if it's there, you gotta paint it. And for the base, I'm just using the burnt sienna and black, and then burnt sienna for the highlights. It's going to be super simple. So I give it a good coating, a good douching of this dirty, blackish brown mud color. And it seems to work out pretty well. It'll look good. You'll see it here in just a second. You'll see how good it looks. You'll see it. Have a little patience. We'll throw it together here. And voila. She fits in there perfectly. Looks like she's stepping in mud. I gotta pick out some of that hot glue. I did hot glue her in there, so that's why she's sticking so well. There we have it. A T-Rex leg painted in 4 colors. And she looks just brilliant. Beautiful work on that modeling. A lot of detail, a lot of skin detail. Looks really hard and rough. Tiny little scaling on the bottom of her feet. She looks really good. And she is available in my Etsy shop down in the link below. So make sure to like and subscribe. It always helps out this channel. I get to bring you more cool stuff. And I will see y'all next time.